What's up, guys? Today, I'm taking you through a quick investment walkthrough. Essentially, I want to show you guys what I look at when I'm either evaluating or out looking at potential investment properties. And the first thing that you have to do before you even get to this point, right? Because right here, we're at the property. I'm going to show you guys inside in a second. But before you even get into that, a lot of the research that you're going to do is going to be at home. Before I even step foot on a property, I need to be crystal clear on my investing strategy. That strategy is gonna serve both as my guardrails and as my North Star as I'm going through this process. This is important because my strategy dictates everything. What properties I look at, where I look, what numbers I run. For example, if my goal is to own a certain number of doors or flip a certain number of properties, generate a specific amount of cash flow, or build a portfolio of Airbnbs, then I can immediately rule out certain properties or locations that's not gonna fit within that goal. For example, I don't know if you guys know this, but in Washington, DC, you cannot Airbnb a property that you're not occupying. And so sometimes you have to understand the local laws and regulations as it pertains to whatever your investment strategy is. So step one is to define your investment strategy. That clarity is gonna help you stay focused and make intentional decisions. So you're not out here looking at any and everything. You know, well, this is my strategy, so only a certain amount of properties are gonna fit within that realm. And so you wanna know what your strategy is, because then the property that you choose is gonna align with that, right? If cash flow is your priority, then you'll run specific numbers to assess whether the property can generate the income that's needed. If flipping is your strategy, then you're gonna focus on acquisition price, ARV, and repair costs to make sure that the numbers are gonna work out in your favor. You'll be surprised, a lot of research and fact finding takes place before you even go out to view the property. For those of you who've been following my journey, you know my ultimate goal is to build a rental portfolio that generates enough cash flow to offset my living expenses. Knowing that, my evaluation process is tailored to that goal. So here's how I assess whether a property is gonna be a good fit for us. First and foremost is location. Since I'm building my portfolio through owner occupancy, wherever I buy is where I'm going to live, at least for a little bit. Whether it's 1 year or 5 years, I need to be comfortable there. That means the neighborhood and surrounding areas are critical factors in my decision making. So I'm gonna ask myself, do I know the area? Is it safe? Does it have the neighborhood amenities that I value? Grocery stores, gyms, hardware stores, hospitals, etc. For the property that I'm at, those boxes are already checked. I'm familiar with the neighborhood and I know what's around. I actually have a friend who lived about probably 10 or 15 minutes from there. And then I also used to live in that area, probably about 15 minutes. So coming in, I already know that this location aligns with not only my investing strategy, but also my personal comfort level. The next thing I evaluate is neighborhood comps. I want a property that needs work, but is also priced appropriately for the work that it needs. I'm typically not looking at properties that are fully renovated. The reason being is because when someone has renovated a property and put it on the market, they're doing so to make a profit. That means any equity that may be in the deal is reserved for the seller, not me. Instead, I focus on properties that are distressed or older and may need some cosmetic updates. Now you'll see this in the video, but when I walk through a property, I'm mainly looking for things that are gonna be cosmetic. Okay, so the lights are off. I think the seller probably cut the lights off. Nobody lives here. And so let's start in the kitchen. Honestly and truly, the kitchen is kind of small. Like, this is probably the only thing that we'll probably just redo the whole entire kitchen. Want to take this up, take the cabinets up, new countertops, put in a dishwasher. Again, it's a little tight, but I think overall, I think it could work. We'll replace all the appliances, probably besides this one. This one looks fairly new. We're talking about like adding like a movable island here, just so there's more like storage space for appliances and things like that. Now let me take a step back, because before you even step into a property, there's two things that I want you guys to research. Number one is the current listing price. What is the property being marketed at, and how does that compare to other properties in the similar condition? The second thing is gonna be the after repair value. What are comparable properties selling for in the same area after they've been updated? When I'm analyzing comps, I'm typically looking at properties within a half-mile radius that have sold within the past 6 months. I wanna see if updated homes on the block or in the neighborhood are selling for prices that would make my numbers work. For example, if I'm buying a property for $250,000 and I plan on putting $50,000 in for repairs, I'll be $300,000 all in. The question is, can I sell it for $315, $325 or more? Even though I'm not planning on selling the property, as you guys know, like my strategy is buy and hold, having equity in the deal is crucial for my investing strategy, which includes leveraging a HELOC to access some of the equity that's in the deal after it's been renovated and occupied by us. If I buy a property below market value, invest in renovations, and create enough equity, I can access that money through a HELOC, home equity line of credit. This gives me the flexibility to reinvest into another property, cover unexpected expenses, or fund other projects. Now, once I've analyzed location and condition relative to price, the next thing I look at is rental comps. After all, my goal is to purchase, renovate, live in, but eventually rent out the property. So it's essential to know what can I rent out this property for, and what are similar properties renting for in the area. Let's say the property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. I'm gonna look at rental listings for similar homes in the neighborhood, just to get an understanding of the rental market. What are the days on market? How much the rents are? Are there any concessions being given? Then I'm gonna compare that to what my mortgage payment is gonna be. The difference is gonna be my cash flow. And for me, my aim is to cash flow at least $300 per deal, if not more. Anything below that is gonna get a little tough to justify. Now, if you're curious of what your mortgage payment is gonna be, I'm gonna link my mortgage calculator down at the bottom, but you can also begin to have that conversation with a mortgage lender. That is gonna be your best friend throughout this whole process, having somebody who is gonna be familiar with the numbers, who can help you run and understand numbers before you go out and start submitting offers, of course. When evaluating rental properties, here's 2 things that you wanna consider. 1, the condition of the property. Since my property is gonna be newly renovated, I can likely rent it out for more than other older or unrenovated homes that are in the area. The second thing is market trends. While my mortgage is gonna be relatively constant, I know rents will likely increase over time, which makes the property even more valuable in the long run. One mistake I see people make all the time is not being in tune with the rental market. It's not just about knowing what people are paying for rent, it's about understanding the renter profile in the area. Who rents here and what are their needs and expectations? For example, in areas like Southeast DC, and this is no shot at Southeast, but it's just something that I've experienced over the past couple of years. You'll likely hear somebody who, I don't know, is either new to the area or a first-time home buyer or really just doesn't understand the market, and they'll say, hey, look, I purchased this property and I can rent out the basement for $1,800. But oftentimes, they haven't run the numbers or studied the rental market. Sure, the basement might look great, it could be spacious, have its own bedroom, bathroom, and all that kind of stuff. But if you're charging $1,800 in an area where tenants can rent an entire apartment for $1,500, you're overpriced. And a lot of times it's real estate agents or sellers who are advertising what you can get for rent for these places before you buy them, like as a sales tactic, say, hey, oh, hey, purchase this house, basement's rentable, this is how much you can get. They're usually getting that off Section 8. And you don't know at this point if you want Section 8 tenants or if that's gonna be your investment strategy. So you just wanna be in tune with the market. What's even worse is when landlords add restrictive criteria like, oh, hey, we need 700 plus credit scores and no evictions. But the property's in a neighborhood that doesn't support that kind of tenant profile. You have to understand the market and set realistic expectations. The key takeaway is this: do your homework. Pulling sales comps, analyzing rental comps, and understanding the renter demographics in the area is all work that I do before I get to the point of walking through the property. This way, when I'm ready to make an offer, I know exactly what I'm getting into and how this property aligns with my strategy. Okay, so I've done all my homework, and on paper, this property checks all the boxes it needs to check. Now that I'm physically at the property, I'm here to confirm a few things. First, I wanna make sure what I saw online matches up with what I'm seeing in person. Viewing the online listing can only tell you so much about the property. So this is my chance to assess the condition and make note of any updates or repairs that I need to make if I decide to buy it. While I'm at the property, I'm also paying attention to the block and the neighborhood. How are the neighbors maintaining their property? Is the block quiet and well kept? What's the parking situation like? These are the same questions anyone's gonna ask when they're moving to a new area. For me, it's not just about whether I feel comfortable here, it's also whether future tenants would find this a desirable area to live as well. So once inside the property, I'm making notes of what I need to repair and what renovation and updates that I'm gonna wanna make. Coming in, hardwood floors. Won't need to touch the floors, which is great, because on the last project, the floors were time-consuming, expensive, labor-intensive, all that kind of stuff. So floors are good. We'll need carpet in 2 of the rooms. We'll need paint. A little bit of drywall work, but honestly, that's pretty much it. We were looking at this bathroom, undecided if we were gonna renovate it or just kind of leave it as is. I think it really just kind of depends on where we end up with the numbers, how much it's gonna cost, what our closing costs are, all that kind of good stuff. But take a look at the bathroom. And then you have two other rooms in here. Just take a quick look there. You'll notice that the carpet is a little dingy, so we'll just probably put new carpet in these rooms. We could do like vinyl. Or tile flooring. But again, these are decisions we'll make down the line if we decide to move forward with it. Windows look okay. So pretty much paint, drywall up here, cosmetic stuff. And this is what we're looking for. That's fine. This is what we're looking for. Like, we're not trying to do these huge renovations where we're knocking down walls and we're doing this and ripping all this stuff up. If we can come in, do cosmetic stuff, right? Because a lot of people are gonna be turned off simply because it's old, ugly, cold, right? And dark. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. If I can find that, if you have that, call me. I might take pictures, jot down notes, and of course, get some input from my wife. As I mentioned earlier, our plan is to move in and occupy this home as our own. So it's not just about the investment potential, it's about livability. I'm walking through the bedrooms, bathrooms, backyard, basement, kitchen, asking myself one important question: would I be comfortable here? The reason this step is so important is because while it's great to have a plan, real life doesn't always go according to plan. We make plans, right? We say, okay, well, we want to do this and this. We're only going to live here for a year before we rent it out. And guess what? We said that with the first property and we were there longer than we anticipated. And we said that with the second property and we were there longer than we anticipated. And so while the numbers are important and hey, keep in the mindset this is an investment property. If we're gonna live here, we're gonna wanna be comfortable. Because while we say it's gonna be for a year, could be for a little bit longer. And as long as we're happy, we're comfortable, then everything else will fall into place. There are so many variables that can affect your timeline. Maybe you need to save more money. Maybe the market's not as conducive due to interest rates or government changes, tariffs, whatever our federal government has going on. Or maybe you just can't find the right property at the right price. So that's why any property we buy is one that we genuinely want to be comfortable in. When you're building a portfolio through owner occupancy, it's important to evaluate the property not only as an investment, but also as a potential home. One that's gonna work for your family now, but also align with your long-term goals. Not everybody wants to do this. I'm just showing you our strategy, what we decide is gonna work for us. And so, laundry room, this is the basement. You can't really see much in there. You have a little storage closet. This is the basement, and so this house is 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms with a basement. This is your, can't really see in there either because it's super dark, but that's your second full bath. We were talking about walling this up and just making this into a closet, because again, to me, that's like dead space. And this area is gonna be cool, you know, little basement, man cave type situation, but also when we have guests, they can stay down here, they have their own bathroom, they have a closet, and so that's it. Let me know if you guys have any questions, but that's it for the walkthrough. I'll keep you guys posted. This is something I'm very serious about. I may wanna move on this. There's a couple pieces at play that I won't get into, but if we can work through all of that and we can get our stuff together, then this would potentially be our next purchase, so.
Yeah, they tryna at me, I'm running the race. I gotta pick up the pace. They throwing shade, but I'm gone. You gotta keep it a buck to my face.